Welcome to your freshman year at the Tragedy Academy, where you are the teacher and we are the students. And together, we will learn from past tragedy to lay the foundation for a better humanity. The only supplies you'll need, an open mind and a sense of humor. So, tilt that chair back, talk out of turn, and never raise your hand. Because this is the Tragedy Academy and class is in session. Now I'm Purist Scholar. Welcome to the Tragedy Academy, a show created to bridge societal divides in a judgment-free zone using candor and humor. My name is Jay, and today I am joined by Mike Barker, the entertainment guru. How you doing today, Mike?
I'm good, Jay. How are you, brother?
I'm doing fantastic. It's great to have you on, my man. I'm super excited about this. I gotta fix my stuff. I can't even see correctly. I'm looking up in the stars. It says tragedy in the name. We get away with so much stuff because, it's already there. It's built into it.
Right, that's right.
Expect some accidents, right?
Ease is the time.
Mike, this list is, I mean, so many stars that you've worked with. I mean, we're looking at, Cardi B. We're looking at Beyonce, Janet Jackson, for God's sakes. Yes. I got to pick out the names in here that resonate with my 90s self. Cause that's my heydays.
That's my day too.
when I see that you're talking to Usher and Larry King, he was my favorite. No, I'm kidding. I love Larry King, but he's a baller, man. He marched to the beat of his own drum.
Dude, definitely inspiring. Definitely inspiration.
That's a resume, man. And
Thank you, sir.
Why don't you tell us what you do and how you came in contact with all these people and what it does for you?
Absolutely. Started at the age of 19. I was going to Long Beach State University. Just had got there from San Diego. I was born and raised in San Diego, and I was just going to school. And I had the idea of wanting to be a high school counselor. And one day I was getting drunk at a sorority house, and I came with a good friend of mine, Chantel Latini, and she said, "Hey, you want to work the Grammy Awards next week?" And that was in 2006, and things just kind of took off from there. And I started as a talent escort for Crutchy Entertainment, and that led me to end up being a talent relations and production manager for Crutchy Entertainment, and been working with him for 15 years on and off, still doing my own gigs and other side work as well, but primarily my time with him was producing events for award shows like American Music Awards and BET and Grammys and Billboards. And that led to me doing more freelance work with CoStar Entertainment, which led to charity events as well. Even the LAPD at one point was doing a charity event, and with Lupus LA as well, So that allowed me to interact and mingle with a lot of stars in terms of booking their media interviews and booking all their press interviews and red carpet production as well with them. And so, once you kind of build those relationships with those artists, they keep coming back to your events, and especially if their projects are getting covered properly and they're enjoying their time, and everything's professional and on point with our events, which we always were with Crutch Entertainment. And so that's just 15 years of that, man, and I'm very, very blessed, and so that led me to get into movie licensing, in addition to doing freelance work with Crutch Entertainment. I'm also an account manager and senior licensing rep for Motion Picture Licensing Corporation. So, that's why I feel like I can call myself the entertainment guru, because I've touched every part of the industry, man. You know what I mean? So I've been that hustler, that front line, doing that grunt work. I've been that account manager.
I want to preface this. That's entertainment, not ear, nose, and throat. I just want to put that out there.
I ain't that baller.
The ear, nose, and throat guru. No,
I ain't thinking about that, dude. But yeah, no, man, and I have to, sometimes you want to be modest. Now, sometimes I always want to be modest. I'm always humble. I'm always grateful. But sometimes, you really got to pat yourself in the back and smack your own ass and be like, dude, I did this. I deserve these accolades. I deserve the roses. If people aren't going to give you the roses, you got to give the roses to yourself sometimes, bro. And but I'm also happy to have the support and the people who really believed in me and see the work. So.
Yeah, I would add on to that if you don't give yourself roses, then whatever you're giving away isn't a rose. That's for damn sure. Because if you don't take care of yourself first, you're no good to anybody else.
So true, brother.
It's just, we don't take care of ourselves enough, and we don't practice gratitude. And I myself, I didn't. Gratitude is a key or a gateway to understanding, other people and empathy. Because too many times we sit and we don't look at other people's experiences. We don't have empathy. We don't try to understand other people, but that's for another day.
Well, no, this is right now. That's narcissism. Okay, that's what that is. That's extreme level of narcissism, borderline personality disorder. That's what that sounds like. So,
say again.
It's real. It's that's extreme narcissism. Your lack of empathy. Anybody's lack of empathy is extreme narcissism, borderline personality disorder.
You're right on. It's all a mental illness. Everything's a mental illness. Everybody listening to the show knows I say that everybody's got a mental illness. Yes. And I think that that our brain is actually, those are all symptoms. They're symptoms of the brain being trapped in a cage, and those are popping out because we're in a land of what you're describing. And I'm super excited to talk about your book. Go ahead and tell us what the book title is. 4 Strategies to Personal Branding and Marketing Yourself. Yes. Best-selling book. Sorry, I did not preface that correctly. And, you know, I like that you talk about how you bring together a branding capability to somebody. But outside of that, before we talk about the book, I did want to say that I did see that you said pursue your dreams, right? Yeah. Dream career. Yeah. You said things like that. You didn't say things like what you want, what you think other people would want you to want, you know, or anything like that. I saw that you told people you gave them keys to a car to get through that career path. And I like that. I like that. But they got to bring their own gas. If they don't bring their gas, the car ain't going to move.
And that gas is your skills. That gas is whatever you learned in school or at that internship. That gas is your resources and networking, you know what I mean? Or your mentor, you know what I mean? That's what that gas is, you know, absolutely, bro. Because a lot of people don't understand that, you know, in this business, sometimes things are going to get handed to you and fall in your lap, but majority of the time, it's not going to be like that, you know? And sometimes it's as easy as having reputable companies on your resume. That's when people started taking me seriously. When people saw Universal Music Group and iHeartMedia and Grammy Recording Academy, they said, oh, well, if he could represent these brands, then he could represent our brand too, you know? So.
Yeah, I totally understand. It's, you know, it's funny. In order to operate in society, you have to almost have 2 different arenas. And it depends on your mindset and how you approach it, because everybody's got a brand. You call it a brand. I call it, say, a mask. And that's not an insulting way. That's everybody is required to have one in order to operate in society now. And it's a matter of what you put on your mask. You have to be able to put the right things on there. You have to wear them with pride, and you have to be able to represent yourself in any environment. And that requires, like you said in the beginning, follow your dream career. Dream career means that you're being yourself, you're being authentic, and you're going for your, you know, what you're trying to do. If you don't have that intent, ain't going to happen.
And the thing about it is, you know, you're going to have dreams at 19, you're going to have dreams at 29, you're going to have dreams at 39. Like, the goal reaching never stops. It's always ever changing. You know, when I finally got my bachelor's and I was working in entertainment, you know, having a degree, you know what I mean, for an official company, because right after I graduated, I was a marketing manager.
Love the quotes, by the way. I love the quotes, the air quotes. As for those of you who didn't hear it, he said degree with air quotes. I want to come back to that. I like that. Keep going.
Right, you know, and it's because you're thinking like, okay, well, that's all I needed. And now I'm here. And now I can live my dreams. And it's like, okay, no, it never stops, you know? And so what happened was right after I graduated, I was fortunate to get a marketing manager position representing American Express and Universal Studios Hollywood partnership. So I did marketing like that. I never thought I would be that guy. Oh, it is? Okay, wow. Yeah. You know, I mean, you know what's so funny is we had an office out there as well.
Yeah, you did. No. Yeah. No. Mm-hmm. See, I'll point it out. You did know you would do that, because if you didn't, you would not be here in this position right now. That is fact. There is no way you could do it, because in order to accomplish anything that you've got written in this book, you have to fake it until you make it, no matter what. You have got to eat, sleep, and breathe who you want to be. Now, the true question is whether or not it's the real you.
Right. There's different versions of you, man, and sometimes you don't know what the real you is until you get put in a scenario of like, can I handle this? Can I not handle this? Do I like this? What are the advantages or disadvantages of putting on that mask? Because sometimes you got to take that mask off and be the raw, authentic self to get down to exactly what you really, really want deep down inside. Is it about money? Is it about survival? Is it about taking care of your kids? Is it about living in Miami? What is it about for you? And that's my whole first chapter, is finding your purpose. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter if your purpose is some surface level BS, or it doesn't matter if it's the most significant thing. You know what I mean? It's whatever your purpose is,
Whatever you were put on the earth to do, whatever wakes you up in the morning and is the most important thing, not the job, not anything else. Shape your life around that. Don't shape yourself around something. It just doesn't work. You have to be yourself in order to go through these steps.
You're right. And that's what people have to realize is even if you don't necessarily have all the resources to make your product or event look A-list, that's what it needs to resonate at some point, like the professionalism, the A-list of it. And that's why I'm always inspired by A-list artists. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still inspired by Janet and her marketing tactics and how she marketed the Janet album and marketed the Control album. I mean, I don't know if people kind of caught this, but the cover of my book is very inspired by the cover of Janet Jackson's Control album. You know what I mean?
Control
Absolutely, man.
The song.
Absolutely. And those albums, the release of those albums
inspired you.
The marketing, the success. What about her
inspired you? Because it's not just the cover.
It was really about the success behind her projects. Her project rollout was always the most professional. Her project rollout was always strategic and structured. She never, once Janet had decided that a project was going to be released, like, it didn't stop. You know what I mean? The promotion train did not stop, and it became very organized all the time. So you very saw that with the Control album and Revelation and Janet and the Velvet Rope album. You know what I mean? It was mainstream marketing always covering her. It was always organized to me, always A-list to me. That's what I loved about it. Always polished, and that's how I wanted it to be in terms of the graphics and the work and how the work looked and the videos, obviously. And, and it was never biting off anybody's style. It was always very authentic as well. It always found a way to resonate and to be relatable to a mainstream market, and that's what it was always about for me. I always wanted my work to be very A-list. I've only been exposed to mainstream and A-list work. And so my individual project had to be like that as well.
If that's, and here's the thing, if that is what gets you out of bed in the morning and that is who you want to be, then I wholeheartedly believe you should. I want to ask you a question, though. In the beginning, you said that you wanted to be a guidance counselor.
Yeah.
You did. And you're not.
No.
Why did you want to be a guidance counselor?
Because I always looked up to my guidance counselors. When I was in high school, I had a counselor who tried to talk me out of going to college and tried to talk me into going to the Army and going to a junior college. And I was like, well, I'm way better than that.
You're like the worst counselor on the planet.
Oh, my gosh. If I would say her name, I'd fuck her for over. Right. But she was doing that to a lot of the Black students, and didn't want to put me in AP classes or honor classes. And I was like, I was way too smart for that. So I found the counselor, biracial, Black woman, Black and white woman, that was like, no, I'm going to get you in these AP classes and you're going to be successful. And we're going to get you on the track to a 4-year college or university. And so Kim Rodan, high school counselor, was amazing, inspired me. And I just knew I always could be an inspiration to other African-American students as well. So I thought I was going to do that.
I like to look at things and see where they start and where they end, because often I've found a lot of times that that everything comes back full circle, and I see you started out wanting to be a guidance counselor, right? And I see that, and then you explain, we've said a lot of names, but they weren't your name, right? They were other people's names. So you're coming through this, and I see now you're doing charities. You're doing speaking engagements. You're doing all these things. And I would argue that the vast majority of what you've done was simply a preparation and a tool to be able to give back.
Thank you for bringing that full circle for me, man. It didn't click to me, but you're absolutely right. Yeah, student outreach is still something very important to me. You know, it is. And I love talking to kids. I love talking to the students. I love inspiring them. I love giving them advice. You know what I mean? And I had a friend that passed away, Carlos, 2018.
I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you, brother. And it inspired me to start a scholarship, you know, and so I think we're on our third or fourth award this year now. We'll be giving out over $500, you know, people donating.
It's funny.
I can't believe
this show actually kicked off after I lost a friend to suicide. I was supposed to see him a week earlier, but he canceled because he was doing something. And it really resonated with me. It made me stop and start looking at things. And first thing I thought was, why didn't my friends know my friend? In this day and age, we're everywhere. We don't take into account that our friends aren't necessarily in the same groups. It's not the same circle, and we're not allowing our friends to help our friends. So the first thing I did was I was like, you know what? If I wasn't available or he wasn't comfortable for some reason to tell me, God, he would have been comfortable telling so many different friends that I have because they've passed my screen test. They're not in that group for being anything but decent human beings, you know, and I feel for you. And that's, and I think I read that he was a veteran too.
Yes. Air Force. Yep.
Air Force. Yeah. I'm an Army veteran. So I encourage all of you to go out and support this scholarship. My friend Garrett, he was a Marine for a while, and I wrote part of the bio for his scholarship at the school he went to out in Washington.
Wow,
what are the odds of this?
Right? Dude, yeah, that's crazy.
He put me on my head, you know, and I actually thank him often thank him for setting the wheels in motion, because you obviously didn't, you talk about the struggle being a young black man in a white school system. I mean, it was made for white people. It was designed by white people. It is a white school system. Right. You're in there and you want to help your childhood you.
Absolutely, man. And the thing about it too is, like, you know, when you're coming up, you know, I grew up in San Diego, so there was majority white people around me. I didn't look at it like that. I was like, oh, I'm just diverse. I'm around a lot of different races, you know what I mean? And you don't notice it until you go to college, and then only 9% of the full-time enrollment at Cal State Long Beach when I was there was only African-American. You know what I mean? And so when you get excited about seeing a black student and saying hi to another black student, it's like, okay, you know, bro, you got the white students telling you, oh, you're a token. It's okay. Like, no, it's not okay. You know what I mean? I'm not a token. I'm more than a token, you know? And you didn't realize that. And the older you get, the more you wake up and the more you're aware, you know what I mean? But you don't get angry about it. You use it to your advantage and use it to be a better person.
Yeah, we can only be the sum of our experiences, you know, at any given time. And if we don't, if we're going to talk gratitude from earlier, I would say gratitude is what you have to practice in order to get through this.
Absolutely.
It's the key.
Yep. You're not going to be you know, the bad guy never wins in the end. I hate to say that, you know what I mean? You can walk around being the biggest asshole you want to all day long and thinking that's going to really make you powerful, but it's not. You know, you can't get bees without honey, you know?
You know, you have to embrace the things that you've been through in your past. You got to be grateful for them.
Yeah, dude.
You got to be grateful for what the good and the bad, the bad. It doesn't work any other way.
Right. You hate the feeling of the struggle when you're going through the struggle. But when you make it out of that struggle, it's like, oh, I'll never go through that crap again. I'll never go through that mess again. You know what I mean? Hell, I'm just getting out of like a 5-year relationship engagement. And I was like, I'll never get over this. And now I'm just like, one day I wake up, I was like, oh, I'm completely over this. Like, I can't believe I didn't have this mentality 3 years ago. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you this, I'll never go through that BS again. I see the red flags early now.
You know what? It's funny you say that. I think that anybody can see the red flags are not necessarily, they've always been there. And just because you didn't see them before, it's because you were looking through like a fractured lens. Everything that somebody thinks about you is you think they think about you is what you think of yourself.
Yes.
It's simply that. They will find the flaw because they're simply it's a mirror. It's opposites. What I hate about me is actually, you know, what I hate about you, and vice versa.
Yes.
And people don't see it. And, you know, you're not supposed to be with someone anyway if that doesn't work that way. We've been taught by society, and I'm not an advocate for divorce or anything like that. I love long relationships. They make me happy. They make me want to celebrate. But at the same time, don't stay in a relationship that isn't working, that isn't, that is not compatible. Like if it gets to a certain degree, or if you have kids or something, you gotta start taking some things into consideration.
Absolutely, man. I mean, yes, I definitely played the fool, but I mean that same type of mentality you have to have with friendships as well. Like you can't have toxic friends around you too. And I've had friends around me that are very successful, that always inspired me, and I always look at that as a blessing. I was like, if God puts somebody in your life too who's doing better than you or doing things that you want to do, like they're there so you can learn from them. You know what I mean? And when you have friends around you that are hating on your success, it's like they don't realize the blessing that God placed in their lives to be inspired by. You know what I mean? So don't hate, be inspired, and it's unfortunate. It sucks because I don't like to say some people are jealous, but I mean, it'd be like that.
Well, you know what? Again, just like I was saying, it's an opposite. It's an opposite. See, every time when somebody walks in front of someone and they have a successful persona, the only reason why somebody is upset is not because they're jealous. It's because they're ashamed. They're ashamed because they're not willing to do what they should be personally inspired to do. They're not taking measures to grow in the path that they were destined to be. So they're not mad at you. They're not jealous of you. They want to be you. They want to emulate you, but they don't know it. It is not in their mind. They think that's you're doing something out of the ordinary. It's easier to chop somebody down than it is to grow yourself.
Absolutely.
Every time.
Absolutely.
Every time.
Mm-hmm. And once you tap into your own lane, you won't be focused on the other noise around you. You know what I mean?
Hello, academics, and welcome to the Study Hall. My name is Carl, your Study Hall monitor. That means everyone needs to read their book, shut up, and don't bother me. To follow Mike Barker, go to @Instagram, Mike Barker, ENT Guru, GURU. Mike Barker has over 15 years of experience in the entertainment business. He's worked with such artists as Janet Jackson, Ciara, Usher, Michael B. Jordan, Beyonce, Mary J. Blige, Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, The Game, Larry King, Tito Ortiz, Tony Braxton, Jill Scott, and Gene Simmons. He has currently written a book that is on Amazon for Kindle Unlimited titled 4 Strategies to Personal Branding and Marketing Yourself, a guide on career enhancement. So you have your assignment. Now, back to class.
I mean, I had a good friend of mine. I didn't think I was ever going to write a book. I knew I always wanted to write a book. And I went over 3 and 4 and 5 different subjects. I started maybe 2 books that didn't work out at all. You know what I mean? But a good friend of mine, Jared Dent, started his own personal training service that was successful, started his own marketing, service that was successful, and wrote a book. And I was like, oh, dude, if Jared can do it, I can do it. But I went to Jared and I said, bro, how did you do it? And took notes. Like, that's what you're supposed to do to me as a professional. That's market research,
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to put your message that you honed over your entire life, because again, I'm going to point out that you're a guidance counselor in this book, right? At the end of the day, you are a guidance counselor in this book.
Oh,
and you're still talking to young Mike. You're telling young Mike, this is how you get here. You're telling young Mike to be Mike. And that's what we do when we grow up in life. And once we make that realization, because you pointed out a lot of things, you said nobody else's problems were your business.
Yeah.
Everything else goes away. You don't concern yourself with it. And too often that's what we want to do. We need to involve ourselves with everybody else around us because we don't want to take stock in what is sitting here. We don't want to look inside. Exactly. And it's not our fault either. That's the problem, because it's a learned behavior. You talk about, I grew up super poor. I mean, poor, like no refrigerator for some time, front door boarded shut, out in the middle of a field is where I grew up. And I needed that. I needed every single bit of that.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to stand here and be able to recognize things and have these conversations. You can't give back if you don't recognize what gifts you were given that tasted like shit at the time.
Absolutely.
Like
hot shit. You know, and like, I don't even know how to describe. There's some moments in life where you're like, God, but why?
And that's so true, Jay. That's so true. You know, and it's you know, it's such a cliche statement to say you don't know what joy feels like until you have the struggle, but that shit's real, bro. And then on top of that, you know, God has to put you through humbling moments to make you open your eyes and realize, you know what I mean? And so there was a time I took advantage of getting scholarships and financial aid and blew the money on BS and wasn't going to class because now I'm working for the Grammy Awards and I'm 20 and right, you know what I mean? Like, hell yeah, I was in good.
You don't know what the hell to do with money if you didn't grow up. Like, I didn't even know what a credit score was, and I was in the Army just standing there like, whoa, what's that? They're like, oh, by the way, it's low because you already have collections. It's a doctor bill. I'm like,
you're 18 and a half.
So I'm starting out negative?
Bruh,
No, they don't teach you that stuff.
And I see
in all of these, you know, in the philanthropy or the, I don't know how to, philanthropic ways that you try to approach society. And again, I'm going to say young Mike, because I see you talking to young Mike and you're telling him, you know, congratulations, you finally fucking got here, dumbass.
Right. Took you long enough.
I'll argue, you say that we get all of these obstacles in life and that we have to overcome them. And I would argue that we created every single one and that they were all a mental block because none of them even exist. Let
me tell you, bro. Yep.
is fictitious.
Yep, exactly.
Just as well as can.
Exactly. Yes, just be you. Just be the best you can be you. Because we do put ourselves in these mazes, these fucking insane mazes, and go through the same crap over and over and over again as if like you didn't learn it the last 3 times. You know what I mean? And so, like I was saying, man, I took advantage of the wrong way sometimes in getting a bachelor's in Long Beach State and didn't take it seriously because I was like, oh, I'm in the entertainment business now. I'm good. And God had to humble me and say, oh, you think you're good? Okay, well, you're going to be forced to take an ed leave right now because you're going to be a daddy. And now you messed up so bad. So you need to go to community college and make up these classes before they'll let you back into school. And you're going to have to pay for these 2 university courses on your own out of your own pocket. Like, you know what I mean? So when I went through all of that, then I go through a divorce. Then I go through my ex-wife was like, listen, I need you to have the baby. You're going to be a single father now. You know what I mean? You know, and watching my mother drive up from San Diego every weekend to get my kid. So my kid wasn't in daycare 7 days a week, only 5 days a week, and having split shifts so I can go to class 3 days out of the week. You know what I mean? So it's that struggle was like, I know my strength now. You know what I mean? I went through all that. There's no way in hell I can't make it through anything else. You know what I mean?
So would you say that those walls never existed to you once you figured it out that there isn't anything? What I love about celebrities, and which I will say that I think that they get fucked when it comes to how they're treated or understood. I wouldn't want to be a celebrity if no matter how much you pay me. No. I don't want to be a celebrity because you will never be given empathy. Empathy is off the table because remember I was describing earlier that person and how they're feeling about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Try to make it a giant mansion, Bentleys and everything else worth of stuff that you're not doing to yourself. That's a lot of hate on a grand scale.
Hell yeah. And the artists that you and I watched growing up in the 90s and the early 2000s, you know, the level of pressure those artists have, they don't have that now the same way that artists like Demi Lovato have. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and I hope I'm not getting too controversial when I say this, but I hate the fact that we have to watch Demi Lovato expose these dark spots of her life to promote an album. You know what I mean? Like that type of vulnerability is like needed now. If you don't have a story, if you don't have some type of headline, if you don't have something just like, can the woman heal personally without having to sell a project behind it? You know what I mean? That's how I feel. And that's how a lot of artists are now, bro. You have to make yourself way too vulnerable sometimes to sell a project. And they don't even sell as much no more. That's what sucks too.
So I'm going to give you a converse thought to that, like the opposite side here. So I would say that I have my fair share of mental health issues and things like that I've stacked up over the years, just like everybody else. And I've found over time that part of healing those mental wounds and those core memories and those things that happen through you throughout life is to teach others. And it's to walk others down the same path. And I always hear that celebrities or actors and things like that they have no right. They have no right to have an opinion on how other people should feel. I mean, let's see here. Brad Pitt, who the fuck is he? He doesn't know about, what empathy is or something like that. Any of these people. And I would argue that celebrities do have a right and an opinion to how other people feel and have more empathy and a better platform with which to get it from, especially actors, because you have to be someone else. You have to stand in another person's shoes. I think everybody should be a method actor for a year or two, because that's how you understand other people's feelings, what they've been through, their experiences. I can guarantee you that I have not experienced as many lives as some of our A-list actors have. Tom Hanks knows humans. He knows the human experience. He knows so many different ways. Jim Carrey does. All these people that we've seen over time, they have played all these roles, and the reason why they're iconic is because you believe them. And you know how you believe them? Because they practiced and learned and lived whatever that life was in order to get to that level. So guess what? They got fucking empathy. They're also batshit crazy like the rest of us.
Yep, absolutely, man. You're absolutely right. And it does make me like, I don't know if I love music so much. I love the artist so much. It just makes me sad sometimes when they have to make themselves so vulnerable. It does make me, because it didn't used to be like that in the industry.
You know what, though? I'm going to try to help you with this viewpoint a little bit, because I feel like you deserve it. That freedom from feeling the way that way for them. For those particular people, especially the Demi Lovato, for some reason she strikes me. She strikes a chord, and the only chord that she strikes to me is honesty.
Yes,
right. And I can say that building the show was a journey, and that without the show and without discussing mental health or societal divides or those things, then I was never going to heal myself.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm still healing every day, just like you are.
Oh, yeah,
The only reason why you're back doing this again is because you're healing.
Yes. And it never stops, man. It never stops, bro. And you, at some point, everybody, we all got issues, bro. And those issues all need to be fine tuned and ironed out if you really want to have a successful life. You know what I mean? And I had to go to therapy. I had to talk to somebody about my problems, bro.
I always go to therapy.
Dude, it was the most refreshing, relieving thing ever in your life, because I was told at one point, like, you ramble, you talk too much. And my therapist is like, who cares? That you're allowed to ramble. You're allowed to talk.
Be you. That's
right.
who you are.
Yeah,
I was told the same thing as a kid. Don't you talk too much. Shut up. Children be seen and not heard. Whatever it might be. All those things. But look where I'm sitting now.
Yes, right. And we want you to talk and ramble. Shit, you wouldn't have You wouldn't have it if
yourself.
you didn't.
Exactly.
Yes,
you wouldn't be sitting in that chair if you weren't doing what you're doing. And
that part, yeah.
I'm just super grateful that you that you came on and shared this with us. And I've got so many you've got so many things that you need to get out there. I want to hear all of your plugs. Make sure that everybody hears how to reach out to you, especially to get this book in their hands. I bought it myself. I read it before we met.
Thank you, sir.
I support creators, artists, people that do things with passion. I have so much more respect after building the show for what that entails, because what people don't see is that it's a labor of love. You don't get paid until it's done.
Say that one more time.
You don't get paid until it's done.
Right, exactly. Yeah, everything's out of your pocket up front, bro. So it definitely has to be about a passion.
Your time, your effort, your stress, all those times that you were on your knees.
Yeah. Oh,
nobody was giving you a check.
Not at all, bro. Not at all.
But then they're mad at you when you do get it.
Yeah, dude. I mean, and I had my stressful times, bro. I was on my knees. Like, I didn't think that I was going to finish the book, bro. And I was like, God, I just got a writer's block so bad, and I didn't know how to finish or focus, or what do I go next? Am I even making sense? So, you know what I mean? You go through all these things, and I had to just tap into my spirituality and was like, bro, believe in yourself and believe in your higher power, and it's gonna work. It's gonna work itself out. You know what I mean? And
meditation, it saved my life.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
Every single day. I know the academics, listeners, they're out there just like, dude, I'm done. I'm done with this meditation shit and authenticity, because I hammer that shit all the time. I'm like, dude, because I didn't know. See, we talk about growing up, you know, and we're back on topic here, but when you grow up with struggles, you also grow up without an identity.
Yes.
You become so many different people.
You do.
So many different roles, so many different things. And I feel like those people that come from struggle have more experience on the other end, simply because they had to be so many different things to get to that level. And that's the experience.
Yeah. And it taps into your maturity, and hopefully that maturity taps into your professionalism as well. That's why I had to tap into it, because, you know, I wanted to lose my mind so many times, bro. I wanted to take the stress of my life and the stress that I was creating on myself and the stress of other people that was giving me, and just wanted to take it to the office and go off on people. But you have to play the role of, I can't bring this bullshit into the office. I can't bring this bullshit into my career. I can't bring them, because you can't, bro. You got to separate the two. And that's how life's always going to be, bro. You know, the stress of my life, I can't bring it into my child's life. You know what I mean? And so you have to think about that as a professional too. No matter what age you are, you're always going to be going through something, bro. You are. And I had to at one point focus on emotional discipline. I was looking up YouTube videos on emotional discipline, because I know I'm an emotional person, but how do I keep that under wraps? How do I find other ways to express this emotion or get this emotion out? Or how do I know how to suppress this emotion without wanting to still break down and cry? You know what I mean? So
what I'm hearing is you went to therapy after you looked that up, because you realized that was not the method with which to, it wasn't to stop it or control it. It was to get to the root and let it go.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I had even got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm gonna
kudos to you for noticing, recognizing, and walking that path. Because, dude, I don't know, my community wasn't all about let's go to therapy when I was a kid. That was for people that were just batshit crazy, weak, everything in between. Oh my God! If you went, thought about it, talked about it, it was over. When in all actuality, if you walk in any barbershop across the nation, there's therapy going on the entire time you're there. It just is therapy.
Dude, I don't know. Why do we have that feeling? You get in that barber chair, that's the first thing you want to be like, bro, let me tell you what happened this week. Like, that's the first thing you want to say.
It's always that way. Because I feel like the barbershop, within reason, is a safe space. I feel like you can speak more openly and have dark humor than you would in other scenarios, because the barbershop teaches me that shit means nothing. Words mean nothing. They have zero. Dude, if you could hand me a sack of words, hit me with a sack of words, hit me with some stress, throw some anxiety at me. I'm waiting. I got my glove. I'm going to put it up in the air. You can't do any of it because it doesn't fucking exist.
Nope. Yep.
It's all choices. Choices. Yep. Am I going to be stressed? Yes. I choose to be stressed because this guy yelled at me. Well, that's stupid, ain't it?
Right. Exactly. And I had to learn that too, where I was like, everything ain't got to be a big deal. I ain't got to get my energy and everything, man. You know what I mean? You know, now everything needs a response, man. You know, like, you know, and once you tap into that, I used to be that person. I would let people just bring me down and just take on other people's stress all the time. And I had to just grow the fuck up at one point, bro, and just be like, I don't want this in my heart, in my life. This is not doing anything for me at all. You know, like, I take pride in not having one gray hair yet at 36. And I'll be damned if I'm gonna let somebody else give me gray hair.
Beard, but not on my head. I got them in my beard, but not on my head, dude.
Hey.
I shouldn't be saying shit like this because I know I'm gonna jinx myself.
Why I said that too.
I'm gonna be, I'm like, but yeah, no gray hairs, and all of them are there. And I sneeze and I get a beard, so beards are okay. You can have some, some gray in your beard. It's distinguished,
right? Okay, that's
whatever.
wisdom. That's what that
is. Dudes, societal viewpoints are super skewed, and women got screwed in that regard. Guys, we tend to age like wine in societal viewpoint. We're looked at as if we're better looking when we get older, or we're more distinguished or sophisticated. And then for some reason, we like to say, oh, a woman's just old. Like, no, that's not, no.
Right,
First of all, I argue that I don't want to have a conversation with anybody under the age of 25 unless they're awake. Unless they have some kind of clue, because behind that, you might as well just be talking to a doorknob because they're not hearing anything you're fucking saying.
Right.
They're just spouting shit off. They're like parrots. Parrots with ADHD.
Bro,
I have no desire to hear that. I want a woman like my wife that knows who she is, knows where she's from, doesn't put on a show, and knows how to deal with me. Nobody on this planet under the age of 25 knows how to deal with me.
Because they don't know how to do it themselves yet. That's the problem, okay? Like, that's what it's about, too. And I had that rule. I was like, I can't date younger than me. I've always been attracted to always older than me, you know what I mean? But now I'm like forcing myself to date a little younger because I got too old in the last relationship, It's so, yeah, bro, I'm at a crossroads.
I just say abandon all the ages and just wait for something.
Right.
Just wait for something.
Something to follow.
Don't put an age on it. Don't put, just like we wouldn't put a race on it, we shouldn't put age on it.
Facts. I like that, bro. Facts. Absolutely, dude. That's discriminatory as well, right?
It is discriminatory, isn't it?
Yeah, bro.
It's discriminatory. But there's so many rabbit holes there. I'm going to leave it at that because that came out well, and I don't want anybody to misinterpret how I try to explain it later. I tend to stick my foot in my mouth then. So, dude, it has been so cool having you on. I love that expanded mind you have and how you're trying to give back and utilizing your book as your method to communicate with people out there. That's a huge thing. That's a story that needs to be resonated amongst everybody. I applaud you for it, and I appreciate you taking the time to come on. Give yourself some plugs. Let's talk about this charity. Let us know where to find the charity at, where they can donate, so we can get some scholarships for some good kids in the name of Carlos.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, man.
So all my information can be found on my website, barkerent.com. That's not for ear, nose, and throat doctor, by the way.
God, man, you're going to hate me forever for this one, man. All your friends are going to get you. Everybody's going to be on you.
Yes,
I'm going to hit you on social media. I'm sorry, man. This is just who I am.
I'm down. But no, barkerent.com. You can go to my Instagram, Mike Barker ENT Guru as well. And my scholarship is the Carlos Raymer Foundation. You can donate on Cash App with Carlos Raymer Fund. Make sure you put that $ in the beginning. And my book, 4 Strategies to Personal Branding and Marketing Yourself, a guide on career enhancement. Best selling. Say that again.
You forgot best selling. You forgot to say best selling.
Oh, yes. #1 new release bestseller. So grateful to God for that one.
It's so hard to self-promote at the same time.
Dude, you have so many things going on, bro. You forget.
Well, on top of that, it's as much as we need to put on that mask and make that persona to accomplish something, whatever our dream is, it's such a pain in the ass.
I know I don't want to sound like a cocky asshole, right? I'm bestseller.
Exactly. You don't want to be braggadocious. You don't want to be over the top. Right. But we recognize this is a resume and this is a message. So put that out there, man.
Yes. Bestseller,
and remember, give yourself roses first.
That's right.
Give yourself roses first.
That's right, brother. Absolutely.
Right. And I like
my book on Amazon. You guys, talk about all my experiences from Janet Jackson to Beyonce to Kelly Rowland to Neo to Usher, Larry King, all my experiences, and really find out how to build that brand and grow your brand and build that product and make yourself a better professional. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Realize that dream, that authentic you.
That's right. Absolutely. Yes,
all right,
sir.
Thanks again, Mike, for coming on. And remember, academics, be cool and keep learning.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Hey, academics, thanks for attending another class at the Tragedy Academy. You can show us some love by rating us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. On Amazon Alexa, ask to listen to the Tragedy Academy podcast. Please visit our website at thetragedyacademy.com, where you'll find past interviews and blogs on our homepage, and sign up for our newsletter, Spam with Extra Gravy. We're on Facebook at The Tragedy Academy Podcast, on Twitter at Tragedy_Academy, and on Instagram at The Tragedy Academy 2019, where we'll post recent shows, blog entries, and thoughts. Submit creative work and funny stories to us at our website or on social media. Thanks again for coming to class, and remember, be cool and keep learning.
Jay, Eric, please report to detention again.
What's up, academics? This is Jay. I'm here to talk to you about Into the AM. This is a clothing and apparel company that I came across last year that has the absolute coolest designs. And the reason why I was attracted to it is because I grew up without a lot of money, like many others, and had to shop on that outlet rack with the irregular items. Things like the fly was over 4 inches to the left, or the right sleeve would be twice the size of the left. It looked like I was growing horizontally. Like, it's okay, honey, you'll grow into your left arm. So you really don't get a chance to express yourself the way that you want to. You go into life, you start putting on suits, you start putting on uniforms, and you realize you'd never had a chance to truly express yourself. Enter Into the AM, a team of artists and creators who share a common vision. They see clothing as a canvas to express what drives you. Since 2012, they've developed premium apparel that elevates self-expression and provides unparalleled comfort for wherever your passions take you. Into the AM's passion for change is the driving force behind their brand. They remain committed to creating products that inspire and promote self-expression by partnering with like-minded organizations focused on giving back to communities in need. Last year, they donated 1% of all revenue from their graphic tees collection to the Art of Elysium charity. The Art of Elysium is an artist organization built on the idea that through service, art becomes a catalyst for social change. For over 24 years, the Art of Elysium has paired volunteer artists with communities to support individuals in the midst of difficult emotional life changes. They currently offer 110 community programs per month, serving over 30,000 individuals per year. The only permanent thing in life is change. Supporting charities dedicated to helping those going through these changes, trials, and tribulations require a never-ending commitment. The onus is on us as creators to affect change through our true, authentic talents, and Into the AM is the model of how this is done. Their clothes are handcrafted with care. They have a team of skilled artisans that craft each garment with the highest quality fabrics and eco-friendly inks. Not to mention, these things don't shrink, they don't fade, and they fit as if they were designed supernaturally. I'm stopped every time I wear one of the graphic tees to find out where I got it. The colors attract attention from miles, and the art is nothing short of spectacular, with designs for everyone. One of my personal favorites, Twilight Maiden. Go take a look. Into the AM does all of this while putting their money where their mouth is. 30-day money-back guarantee, lightning fast shipping, and hassle-free returns. The deals are endless. Graphic tee bundles, discount promo codes. Get over there, check it out. I'm highlighting the tees, but I'd be remiss to not mention that if you want to walk around in the absolute most comfortable shorts, joggers, and basic tees, hit up Into the AM. I even wear the basics to the gym. Head on over to thetragedyacademy.com, go to our sponsors tab, and follow the affiliate link to the Into the AM store. Help support Into the AM and the Tragedy Academy by purchasing the absolute best apparel and the best designs ever. And remember, academics, be cool and keep learning.